guys, so here's how to play Shallow. Basically, this is kind of a finger picking song. You don't need a capo or anything, so I'm just going to do my best to kind of try to explain it. Basically, there's an intro part that consists of basically an E minor, D over F sharp to a G, and then it's going to jump up to a C, and then D, and then E minor, D over F sharp, G again. Okay, so that's the full intro. So that's before they start singing. So let's go ahead and just look at that piece, and then we'll look at the piece while they're singing, in case you wanna try singing it. So the intro, index finger, 2nd fret of the A, ring finger is going to be on 3rd fret of the B. Now your thumb is going to pluck the low E and then that A. So low E, A. So what I'm doing there is middle fingers plucking the B, index fingers plucking the G. So you got low E, A with your thumb, low E, A, and then middle finger plucks B, index finger plucks G. That's going to be a really repetitive piece of the song every time it goes to that E minor. Okay, so the next note you're going to pluck is thumb over the top on the 2nd fret of the low E string, and you're going to pluck that by itself. So you've got okay. So when you go to that 2nd fret of the E, what you want to do is kind of jump your index finger and your ring finger into a D shape, a D formation here. So your index finger is then going to set down on that 2nd fret of the G. So what happened there was you were here, your index finger was on 2nd fret of the A string, and then when that thumb came over the top, your index finger jumped down to the 2nd fret of the G. And then you pluck that 2nd fret of the E by itself. Then you're going to pluck that D chord with your index finger, again on the G, middle finger on the B. So here's what we've got so far. So finally, we're going to get up to a G chord. So your ring finger is married to that 3rd fret of the B string. It hasn't moved yet, and it's still not going to move for this G chord. So you bring your middle finger up to 3rd fret of the E, and your thumb is going to pluck that E string, and again, index finger G, middle finger B. So here's what we've got. Okay, so now we're going to move up to a C chord, and in the intro there's a little bit more going on that first time the C chord is played. So let's look at that. So index finger, 1st fret of the B, middle finger, 2nd fret of the D, ring finger, 3rd fret of the A. So what you're going to play is, so now your thumb's playing the A and the D string, okay? And your middle finger is going to pluck that B. So try that a couple times. So now you're going to add your pinky on that 3rd fret of the B and pluck again with your middle finger. So one more time. Okay, so following that, you're going to pluck your index finger on the G. Okay. going to go back to thumb plucking the A. So one more time. Okay, so following that, finally, ring finger on the plucking hand is going to get involved and pluck the high E. Now, I believe that's the last note of this C chord. So that's the middle finger, again plucking the B string, where you're holding down 3rd fret with your pinky. So most of that work is with your plucking hand. Now we're going to jump back to that G chord again. So your middle finger, 3rd fret of the low E, you're going to pluck that. Ring finger, again, back to that 3rd fret of the B. And index finger is going to pluck G, middle finger is going to pluck B. So now finally, the riff's going to end on that D chord. So your thumb's going to pluck the open D, and then your index finger here is on the 2nd fret of G, ring finger, 3rd fret of B. So your index finger is going to pluck G, middle finger, B. Okay. So we've got when you get to that point, your thumb plucks the D, index G, middle B. You're going to play a hammer-on pull-off on that 2nd fret of the high E. So your ring finger can pluck over here. And then follow that by your middle finger plucking the B string. So and it sounds kind of nice to maybe go all the way to that G. So your index finger can pluck that G. Okay, so to finish off the intro, that's going to happen again. So that's the full intro. So really slow, the full intro is okay, so if you got this far, you pretty much have the feel of the entire riff down. So now let's take a look at what to play while singing. So I noticed on the track itself, like if you want to be super exact, I think what happens is, it's pretty much, it's just these same chords and everything. So what happens the first time is, so just kind of a little, so your pinky's sitting on that 3rd fret of the high E for that. So what I've decided to do with the C chord during the verse is a pretty simple pattern, and I think it's just easiest to do this every time. So let's jump to that C chord. And what you're going to do is just pluck the A, the D, so, and then middle finger's going to pluck the B, index finger, the G, and then, so, So here's a good way to think about this. Right after you pluck the A and the D, you're going to do a 3-note repetition going B, G, D, B, G, D. So you got a little slower. All right, so the first part of the verse where they first start singing. Okay, so that's what I like to do for the C. I think every time it just makes sense. So following that, so now your little hammer-on actually happens a little bit later. So, you know, in the intro, the little hammer-on that second fret happens sooner in the rhythm, but now it's happening slightly later. So let me show you that one more time. So we've got. So what happened there is you actually pluck the open D before the hammer-on riff, okay? So here's what we've got. And then it's just going to repeat that. So when you're repeating this, you don't actually have to do that little riff on the G every time, okay? It kind of sounds to me like that only happens the very first time, and then after that, it's just kind of you know. So yeah. All right, I hope that helped you get a good start on this song. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.